everybody, Dyna Dick here. Just wanted to jump up on here. A couple of my homeboys have been bugging me to do some content and some videos. So this is our first one. Figure a 3-hole service on this Dyna would probably be a nice little easy introduction. So I'm going to walk you guys through it step by step. It's called a 3-hole oil change because you have 3 drain plugs. You got your primary, transmission, and your main oil. So I'm going to run you guys through what you're going to need for a 3-hole oil service on your Dyna. We're going to get this one laced up today. Basic, straightforward stuff. Funnel, another funnel, and you got your drain pan here. I picked these up at Home Depot. They're super cost effective, low pro, long, so it allows you to get all 3 holes at the same time. As far as tools go, you're going to need a T27. That's going to be specifically for your derby cover. When you remove this, that's how you're going to fill up your primary. We got an 11/16 here. And that's going to be for your oil filter nut if you have one of those. If not, you can get a filter wrench. Those are helpful as well. And then we're going to use our gear wrench, 3/8 drive with our gear wrench, 5/8 socket, and this is going to be for all 3 of your drain plugs. Okay, as far as what you need product wise, we're going to be rocking the high flow filter. We purchased these through Western Power Sports hard drive. They're also available on dynadixdeals.com. This one's black. You're going to need your 3 O-rings. Each drain plug gets its own O-ring. We have these in stock as well. And today we're going to be running Bel Ray semi-synthetic. This is a 20/50 weight. So you have your motor oil, you have your transmission or your gear oil, and then you also have your primary oil for your clutch pack. Alright, so you're going to be using, well, we're going to be using gear wrench, 3/8 drive ratchet, and also 5/8 socket. We're going to start with the primary. So your primary is going to be right here on your inner and your outer area. We already had this loose, so just kind of give you guys an idea. I'm using your 5/8. Done deal. Super easy. You always want to check the tip of your drain plug. Check for any kind of metal, shavings, anything weird. You will have some little bit of buildup from the plates. Don't get worried about that. Just anything super chunky. You also want to check out the fluid itself to see if there's anything inside your drain pan that you would be concerned about. Now we're going to do the trans and we're going to do the regular oil. Alright, cool. So for your oil, we already did the primary. Your oil is going to be right here on the side of your pan. You take your 5/8 socket with your 3/8 ratchet. We're going to get this bad boy loose. You can use your impact gun or you want to do that as well. I just get it loose and then grab it with my finger and let it drain out. Same thing, you want to check the tip. Make sure there's no buildup or any kind of chunkies on it. And we're going to let that oil drain into the pan. Cool, so your third one, your trans, is going to be right past your frame here. There's a little recess in your pan. So you just stick the socket up in there. Kind of loosen this bad boy. We're draining 2 of the 3 holes right now. You want to move your pan into space. It's okay if the plug falls in, it's not the end of the world. We're gonna finger it real good.
What did he say?
My lady wants to know how I get my finger action. This is it right here for sure. Bam, that's pouring out.
Is that normally how it happens?
Yeah, once you get the good finger action, it pours out like that. So you can see that there's a little bit of shavings on there. So that'd be something to kind of take a look. You can see the O-ring is completely squished and you got a little bit of buildup on there. It's always important to switch out these O-rings every oil change. Once they compress down, they're kind of blown out. So don't catch a leak over a $1 O-ring.
So what are you doing right now?
Right now we're gonna use this pick, nice little curved pick, and we're gonna pull off these O-rings. If I don't stab myself in the finger there, I'm gonna pull off these O-rings one at a time and get all these off, and we're gonna replace these. Definitely don't want to reuse the O-rings. I'm not a fan. It's only a couple bucks and you're better off just starting with all new stuff. So we're gonna put these 3 little guys on. See, that one's got all kinds of crap on it. We're gonna clean these up real good. And we're just gonna put these guys on here. They just slide right over. It's like you're putting on a condom. Some of you guys don't know what that's like, but
I don't.
Same thing here. I'm MVP, most valuable pull-out player. So boom, boom, boom. And that's why they call it a 3-hole service, because you have 3 drain plugs, your primary, your oil, and your trans. So now that we have all 3 holes draining, we also have replaced the O-rings on the drain plugs. We're going to now pull off the derby cover, because that's how you fill the primary up with your fluid. So I got the impact here. You can still use your same 3/8 ratchet if you want to. This speeds it up a little. And we got the T27 for your derby cover bolts. So when you pull your derby off, you're gonna always have your derby cover gasket. Some are different. Some have the flat crush like this. Some have the little insert on the derby itself. You can go either way with it depending on your derby cover. Usually it's specific. So you pull this guy off. You see how it says facing towards the clutch? That means it goes like that. Has the seals here, seals that. Make sure no fluid gets out. Alright, cool. So the primary's drained now. We're still draining the oil and the trans. So we're going to put the drain plug back in with the new O-ring. We're just going to finger that one in. And then we're going to tighten it up with our 3/8 drive, 5/8 socket. Put that bad boy on there. You don't want to over tighten it. You know, you see a little flex in the arm there, just a little, don't give it too much, and you're good to go. This is super handy. Most guys will rock this. They'll stick it in there like so, and then they'll kind of fill it. This one is very handy because it's meant specifically for the primary. You set it in there, and then you can pour the fluid directly in without having to dick with it. We are using Bel Ray V-Twin primary chain case lubricant. And for this one, it's a full quart. Okay, so we got the new gasket in, we got the derby cover on, we already hit the screws with some blue Loctite. This is not optional, this is something you should use on a regular. Make sure you're referencing your manual. We got 5 screws here. Do not over tighten these, don't go all crazy with it. You're gonna snug these down in a star pattern. Really easy, nothing too crazy. You can blow these primary threads out, so make sure you don't go too nuts with it because you'll regret it later. So again, we're using our 3/8 drive, 5/8 socket We've already done the primary. We're buttoned up there, fluids inside. Now we're tightening up your main oil drain plug. We already put on the new washers, and I'm just snugging it tight. Nothing too crazy. Done deal. So the third drain plug is again behind the frame here. It's recessed into the pan. I'm just finger tightening it right now, and that's going to be your transmission drain plug. So we're going to be running, this is your just standard little skinny funnel. Again, rocking the Bel Ray. This is transmission oil. Make sure you don't mix them up. There is a difference. And this one's going to take about 30 ounces. So you're not going to put the whole thing in there.
It's just under a full quart, huh?
Just under a full quart. I'll show you guys how to read the bottle if you're not familiar with how to read the bottle gauge. Okay. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to pull the oil filter. You could do this first, you could do it after, whatever the case is. We left it till last. I always put, oh fuck, that's the wrong socket.
Always put the wrong socket on there.
Put the wrong socket on there. Alright, so now that we're putting the oil filter on, like I said before, making sure you don't have oil on the motor mount itself, because that will deteriorate the motor mount rubber. It will mess up the motor mount. That's like a $150 part plus labor. So do yourself a favor, make sure you keep the oil off of the motor mount. We've already cleaned this area pretty thoroughly. You can see a little bit more is dripping out there. Everything's cleaned up. So now when putting on your new oil filter, two things you want to keep in mind. One being the gasket. Sometimes the gasket will actually come out of the filter and it'll stick onto your mounting area. Some people will double up on accident, not knowing any better, and they'll put this on top of that and you'll cause a leak. So always make sure the gasket comes off with the filter. Ours didn't, so kind of keep that in mind. Now when installing your new oil filter, you always want to make sure you put a little bit of oil. You can just put it on your finger here, and you just want to spread it along the seal. Real nice and easy, it just lubricates the seal, helps with sealing. And then also, again, we're using Bel Ray 2050 for the oil change, and you want to pour a little bit of it into the filter, you know, maybe about halfway, so you can get it on there without spilling. But this helps to make sure that oil is in all the right places before you fire the motor. Alright, cool. So we're rocking Bel Ray through this whole bike. Like I've been saying, not trying to beat a dead horse. We're running 2050 weight. For Dynas, it says about 3 quarts. What I do is like 2.75, turn the bike on, kind of check the level. Don't go full retard and just start filling it up all the way to full 3 quarts. Sometimes the oil gets trapped depending on when it's on the lift or on the floor or how you have it jacked up. We just finished this bad boy up. 3-hole oil service and front and back brake pads. We also did a front axle maintenance, lubed that up as well. So what we're doing here is we always start the bike up once it's off the lift. It's on a different balance point. You want to make sure all the oil is where it needs to be. We're just going to turn it on. It's going to suck some oil up, and then we'll be able to get an accurate reading on the dipstick.